Now, there are a couple things in the book that really I was blown away by. One, okay, so you do the Brady Bunch, you have all the success, then you get into Coke.
Yes.
Things had gotten bad for you.
Really bad.
You have an audition with Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
And here, and I can only imagine it's hard to get a role because people identify with Marsha Brady.
Right.
So you have this audition and it doesn't go so well. Can you take us a little bit behind the scenes of that?
It was awful. I had been up for 3 days snorting Coke, and I remember not wanting to go to the interview because I was so out of it. But my agent said, you have to get there. And I drove around the block and around the block and around the block because I was so paranoid of seeing anybody and so scared. And went in and he put me on tape. And I can't even imagine. I wish I could find that tape today because it's got to be absolutely horrific. I was so spaced out. You know, and people have been asking me all day, you know, do I regret anything? Do I regret anything? Honestly, like something like that, yeah, I do regret that I was totally high, and you know, there was another movie that I did called The Idolmaker, and I was totally high and blitzed during that. So, you know, yeah, those are regrets of mine.
In a way, though, it makes me want to go back and kind of watch some of those movies.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I hate to say that, Maureen.
No, I understand. I understand. I was high during a lot of those shows.
Unbelievable. Well,
yeah.
Okay, so the book is called Here's the Story. We're on with Maureen McCormick. Now, another big revelation in the book is that you had the hots for Barry Williams.
Oh,
Greg.
did I? Yes. I mean, it was Hormone City. From the age of 12 through 17, I was going crazy for him. You know, it was really a love affair.
And technically, in the plot line of the show, I mean, you could have hooked up. You were really
Technically,
brothers.
we actually really could have. And we were just, you know what? Wouldn't that have been an interesting Brady Bunch if we had actually all hooked up with each other? Because we were hooking up in private.
And that's another interesting part of the book, how you talk about all the storylines were just so wholesome that wouldn't it have been nice to have a edgier storyline?
Exactly, yeah.
Did you ever suggest that to the writers, or did you have a say in anything? It didn't matter?
I didn't have a say in anything. I was a kid, so it didn't matter. But Bob Reed fought for edgier and more realistic things all the time. And he would walk off the set and be totally furious and go to a bar because he was so upset with some of the situations on the Brady Bunch. He just thought they were so unreal.
And he played your dad. You were close with him.
Very close.
And you had no idea he was gay.
I had no idea.
Now, do you think that's because you were young and you didn't really understand what that was, or do you think he just, you know, covered it up very well?
I think I was really naive. I think, honestly, between all of the 6 kids, I was the most naive. And everyone knew before I did. Everyone could tell. And I didn't really even know what it meant to be gay.
Right.
And I was in love with Bob Reed, too. I thought I was going to run off and get married to him one day.
So you wanted to marry your brother and your dad?
Yeah,
on the show.
I did. Yeah.
Well, there are so many great stories that you write about in the book, and the one that keeps coming up is obviously your relationship with Eve Plum.
Yes.
I heard you in another interview talk about how you don't speak anymore.
No, she won't speak to me.
And this is because something you said in another interview that you kissed one time?
Right. Which, you know, I love Eve. She was my best friend. And I was on a show called Vibe, and I was having fun. It was late night. And there's been all these sexual jokes through the years about the Brady Bunch. And this person hooking up with this person, and Florence and Barry, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, everyone was, you know, having it out with everybody.
Right.
So I just was having a good time, and they said, you know, who were you in love with? And I said, Bob Reed and Barry. And then I said, Florence and Eve, which is true, because I loved them. And then they said, did you ever kiss Eve? And I said, yes, which I have kissed Eve. I kissed her, you know, a lot when we were on the show. But it was just as a friend.
Of course, I understand that.
And so it was taken totally the wrong way. And I called her and I said, look, you know, I just want to let you know that this happened. And, you know, and ever since then. And I don't know if that's the reason, the only reason why she won't talk to me, but
Isn't that interesting? So now you're on the PR tour, you're doing all these interviews, and obviously people are asking about that. You would think that she may want to come out and say, do you think it's because she just doesn't want to be on the radar anymore?
I have no idea.
Eve Plum, you need to call Maureen.
Exactly. You do, Eve. You really do. I miss you.
Well, there are just so many things about your book that are great. I mean, so much stuff about, like, you dating Steve Martin, which has been out in the press a lot, but dating Richard Hatch.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh.
He's totally hot.
Yeah.
You loved him.
He was hot.
Yeah.
I was in love with him. I was really in love with a guy named Gregory Harrison.
Love him.
Yes.
He's hot, too.
Yes.
I mean, you got to date all the hottest guys in the 70s and 80s. You had the life.
It was great. It was great.
What did you think of the Brady Bunch movies?
Oh, I thought they were so well done. I thought they were so funny. I thought Christine Taylor was fabulous. I thought everyone in the cast fit each character to a T.
Yeah, I thought they were great, too.
They were incredible.
Well, Maureen, it is so nice meeting you. I could sit and talk to you all day.
I could sit and talk to you all day.
I didn't, yeah, but the book, I gotta say, I really enjoyed the book. Everybody should read it. Here's the story, Surviving Marsha Brady and Finding My True Voice. I think what I got out of it the most is I always looked up to you as this perfect, and sometimes it's nice to know that you're not perfect.
Thank you so much. That's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. Because everyone had this image of me, and it's so not true.
Yeah, yeah.
So thank you for saying that.
Well, and thank you for coming in, and thank you for being so open about the stuff. And you did some crazy stuff, girl.
I did, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're terrific. Everybody get the book, Maureen McCormick. You're the greatest.
So are you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming by, Dave FM.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You're a doll.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. I had a great time.
Well, I have to get a picture with you.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I had like 18 more questions to ask you. Like, I was fascinated that Peter Tork was your favorite, and not Davy Jones.
Yeah.
And then about Donnie and Marie being so intense. That was fascinating to me, and even the stuff about Ellen DeGeneres I thought was fascinating too. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, she's so cool.
So, what are you going to do next?
I have no idea.
Well, this is great. I mean, the book's great. Can you sign it?
Yes.
I want to give this, since I've read it,
Yeah.
I want to give it to a friend of mine.
Sure.
And her name is Melissa.
Okay.
So if you could sign that, that would be
Melissa,
wonderful.
you got it.
Yes. She will die.